And we are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bigfoot Odyssey. I hope everybody's doing all right out there tonight. Guys, relax, calm down. I know we're all excited about the 168. It's not now. We're not doing it right now. I did say it's coming on the flyer, so I don't want to disappoint people, but this is our regular Wednesday show. Kerry is uploading the 168 as we speak, and hopefully, how long? It's going to be out tomorrow for members only and Saturday as planned for everybody else. So I'm as excited as you guys are. But tonight we're going to talk a little bit about the 168. We've got the guys here that are actually down there doing it. We've got David Dominique, we've got Josh Parkinsons, and we've got Jimmy Barr. How you doing, guys?
We're great.
Doing good.
That's good.
Doing fantastic. And thank you again once for having me. And it's good to see these guys. I haven't seen them since 168. And it's like a little reunion here. It's pretty cool.
Well, it'd be good. Maybe we can jog some memories about things that happened and get some snippets of information. Obviously, we don't want to give too much away.
Yeah.
But Josh, let's start with you because I've never spoke to you before. Just give me a
Sure.
little bit of background about you, how you ended up getting involved in Bigfoot.
Well, it's something I was born into. My father's actually a researcher in Texas with taps.
All right.
And we would go out to Sam Houston um, area, and that's where I had my first encounters when we were backpacking out there. And I was interested in the subject beforehand. Always watching the documentaries and reading the books like the Loch Ness Monster, and and I know this was before that scientists agreed that the giant squid was a real actual creature, and so I was always into that kind of stuff. And anyways, then we'd had a backpacking trip. I had my encounter, and that really, for both me and my father, really pushed us into the subject, and that's pretty much how it started for me.
Cool. And then how did you get onto Bigfoot Odyssey? What? How did you start watching or getting involved with that?
Well, it all started. I have my own podcast called Hide and Seek Archives. So I do some interviews with people who've had strange encounters. It's not just Sasquatch. We also do Mothman and pretty much any other cryptids. Sometimes we do ghosts and hauntings and that kind of stuff. Um, and then I met Dave and couple of the others, and through them I ended up finding Bigfoot Odyssey, and I was invited. I believe it was Dave who threw my name out there to Carrie, and I was invited. I got to do the interview, and apparently I passed it with flying colors, and I was invited.
And the rest
And
is history.
yeah,
Dave, how
Yeah.
did you? I mean, you were a federal agent
Yeah.
working in, all that stuff. How do you get involved with Bigfoot?
Yeah. Well, I was a federal agent. Um, I did cybercrime, computer forensics, digital forensics. I did um, all sorts of cases, national security cases, things like that. When I retired, I started hiking the woods of northern Michigan and had some encounters with some bears, some other types of animals, but had in 2017 and 2018 a couple of encounters which really opened my eyes as to things being out there that we really don't know about. That, and I can tell you definitely having been a special agent for a large three-letter government agency that they only tell people about 10% of what actually goes on out there. The other 90% the people never know about, and they like to keep it that way. Now, having said that, I'll probably be in trouble just for saying that much, but it's the truth.
Mhm.
Um, so that's kind of what led me down this path, and I got hooked up with Val Zavala um, from Gumshoe Guys Corner, Bigfoot Data and Reporting Center in Michigan, and ultimately to Bigfoot Odyssey and Carrie and yourself. and all the wonderful people that we've been able to meet.
Yeah. And Jimmy, of course, for anybody who doesn't know, just tell us a little bit about how you got involved with Bigfoot and Bigfoot Odyssey.
As a child, I had one almost land on me. Fell out of a tree about 5 feet away. It was about 15 feet up, and that was the day that monsters became real. And then later that night, there was a much larger one that showed up at our bedroom window. And then life went on. This happened when I was probably 7 or 8, and moved to Florida. And a buddy of mine and I just came full circle. We both lived in Atlanta, Illinois. He moved to Florida before I did, and I moved to Florida, different part of Florida. Next thing you know, we were in a chat of the same group, being invited to join a group together. So it kind of brought us back. We were best friends, roommates, bandmates, wrote songs together, played out live together, opened up for headlining acts, on stage for Skid Row and Stephen Pearcy from Rat, and some of the 80s stuff. And been in it ever since. We joined a group in Ocala, learned some things, branched out on our own, and started listening to Sasquatch Chronicles before I got into any group, about 3 or 4 years ago. And once I got to Florida, and then I came across Bigfoot Odyssey, and I was hooked. I'm all in on Bigfoot Odyssey. And what it's about, what it stands for, bringing awareness, and the community that's involved with Bigfoot Odyssey. Everybody's, for the most part, got a very level head. There's not a whole lot of, childish stuff going on. Great group of people. When I went to 168 and got to meet Josh and Dave and Blake and Chad and Mark Newbill and Chris Noel, and Barry was there, and Russell and Lynn and Stevie, and I'm sure everybody I met, they were all great. Todd, cameraman guy, just stellar people. But on the 168, the MVP of the entire thing wasn't even a researcher, in my opinion. It was our cook.
Wow.
Our cook was amazing. Wow. Our cook was just the backbone, the heart and soul and the pulse. Without her, we would have never made it through day one. So she does not want to be named, but I'm publicly saying, you rock. You're amazing.
Food's important, isn't it?
Yeah.
To have a decent meal.
And she was just nice, just the nicest person too. She was just the nicest, positive person too. She was perfect for what we had, and she was just awesome. She was stellar.
Excellent.
She really helped keep everything going and everything on a schedule, and that was very, very important to everything that we were trying to do.
It was awesome because we would be out there doing our research and coming back to some home cooked food like that. That was a big motivator. It was a big help.
Some of the best food I've ever had too, honestly. Some
Absolutely.
of the best food I've ever had.
Wow.
She's amazing.
Yeah, even Lynn here is agreeing. That was wonderful. Hooks to our chef. I hope you did all right, Lynn. So, I mean, I know you all get together. You go on this 168. You end up meeting up, and I guess you don't know each other. Some of you might know each other. I don't know how many of you physically met before in the past, but I mean, how was that jelly? How did you manage to gel together? Was it easy? Did you just kind of bond, or in reality, not everyone gets on with everybody. It's quite a large amount of people, but you all seem to get on from what I could gather. How did you find it meeting new people and trying to get on and do this mission when you don't know who some of these people are and what they can do?
For me, I showed up alone, and I had my mindset was to test myself. I haven't been camping since I was a kid, and it was all done for me. My uncle would set the camp up, set the tent up, set the firewood up, do all the cooking, tear everything down. I was just a kid to run about and be a kid. So I was going out there day one, just trying to prove to myself. But I also went in the mindset that we all have the same goal, and this should be fairly easy. bond with people that had the same goal. We had meetings prior to 168, got to know each other a little bit and where we stand on our beliefs and our theories and whatnot. And so some of the filling out process was done before we got there. But once you got there and seen everybody pitching in to set their stuff up and then help other people set their stuff up, and then just the camaraderie was there. It was there. There may have been, some hiccups, but there's hiccups in everything.
Exactly.
But it was nothing that couldn't been overcome. And I think we came out stronger than when we went in.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? You can get over these things. Communication is having those skills to do that. We should all be able to get on when we need to. But what about you, Dave? How did you find it meeting new people and being together as a team?
Yeah, I think it was great. A lot of good vibes from everyone. A lot of good energy. I primarily focused on doing the job and setting up to do the job that I was tasked to do and collect the data that Carrie was going to need and that everyone else is going to need. But in terms of getting along with everyone, it was a really tight crew. You met some great people like Christopher Noel and Mark Newbill and all those guys. And you can't hang a price tag on that at all. That was just it was amazing. It was an amazing experience. And I tell people going to 168, it was no joke. It was almost like being on an episode of Survivor because you had to go out and do research. I had to do data dumps, and basically the time we had out in the field versus the time we had in camp was very little. And people were out there with very little sleep, doing as much as they could because we knew that our time was limited.
Mm-hmm. And Josh?
Well, I think a big thing was because there were so many people that came from so many different backgrounds, and everybody does research a little differently. Excuse me. And everybody had such great ideas, and nobody, I guess, dogged on each other's idea. So everybody was more than willing to use each other's idea. I think that's what one of the big things was with this is we were willing to use each other's ideas to see what kind of activity we can get and what kind of evidence we can pull together.
That's great. What was your actual job for you, Josh? What were you in charge of, or what was your kind of strength, in that position?
Well, going in, I was mainly the reptile expert because I have a vast knowledge of reptiles. Because there was a lot of gators. It was definitely mating season, so we had to be careful. I know that for a while there, I thought I was going to have to wrestle one off Carrie.
Oh,
Yeah, that was that was definitely interesting. And then basically, I turned into just another one of the field guys out there, and found one of the prints out there that's going to be on the show, and we ended up. I believe there were a couple other prints found, but that's mainly what I did. I was always looking down and up when I was out in the field.
yeah. I'm going to give your voice a bit of a break because you've not been so well, have you? I know it's getting a bit rusty.
Yeah, it's getting scratchy.
Jimmy, what did you come out with? What did you come out with? Anything? Did you learn anything about yourself?
Yeah. I'm, I guess if you're going to label me a researcher, I don't know if I would label myself a researcher. I'm more of somebody who's just looking to have another encounter. I want to have another encounter as an adult because hopefully I'll have the mindset to observe it instead of turn and run. As a kid, I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to look at it. I turned away as quick as I could. I tried to unsee what I seen, but I couldn't. My job when I got there was Carrie did a call. I need somebody to go in after it. If it's behind the bush, if it's behind the tree, I need somebody to take one for the team and go in after it. And with my encounter as a child, talking about it, the fear is overwhelming. dealing with it when I talk about it. It affects my entire body from my inside out. My voice starts cracking. I start getting the goosebumps. I start tearing up. Sometimes I can't even make it through talking about it. And for me, facing my fear was my main goal, but seeing it is also my other goal. And by killing two birds with one stone, that was what I wanted to do. So my job was to go in, and I went in, and I just want to say about Josh, he wasn't just another guy. He was right there with me going in when heat signatures were spotted. We were going through marsh up past our knees where there were possibly gators, and we kept hearing noises in the water. And, we piled our way through bush that you couldn't see through. He wasn't just another guy in the field. He's being a little modest on that. And what I learned about myself is something that I think I wanted to do. I wasn't sure about it until I got into it with more seriousness. And then when I got into 168 and realized that my technology in the field isn't going to cut it, I need more equipment. So, that's what we did after 168. We started getting, right before 168, we actually invested in some night vision and some FLIR and monoculars and whatnot, to have a little bit better of a chance, per se, when we're out there. But it doesn't matter how much equipment you have. More than likely, the person that proves Bigfoot to the world is going to be somebody not looking for Bigfoot. More than likely, as much as some researchers might not like it, that they've been in it for 40 years, 30 years, 20 years, leading crews, it's most likely going to be you. We all want to be that one. I want to be the one, like I said, to visualize it, see what I didn't want to look at, face my fears. That was my goal. What I learned, that's what I learned about myself was, this is something I want to do. This is something I want to be a little more, into. I was also there for the experience, man. I really wanted to hook up with Mark Newbill and Christopher Noel and Dave and these guys that had more experience in the field. For me, I was just out there looking for signs. People kind of harsh on us for looking for tracks and looking for structures. There's no way to track them down unless you got some sign of that they were there. So you got to look at the ground. You got to look at the structures. You got to look in the trees, for God's sakes. One fell out of the tree. So look up every now and then.
Yeah.
So, what I also learned too is before I went into this, I didn't feel so comfortable asking for help. Still haven't, but knowing that the government is not beating down our doors to sponsor our endeavors out there looking for Sasquatch, we need all the help we can get. So if people want to contribute to help us find the answers, I've changed my thought process on that because it's expensive. This stuff isn't cheap.
It's
And
not, is it?
when you're working 9 to 5 and you got 3 kids, a dog and a cat, you don't even really like the dog and the cat.
And Freddie.
Yeah, and Fred has been removed. He's probably been somebody's dinner and a handbag.
Oh no. Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah.
But look, guys, I think we've got an update. We've got somebody here. Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Gary?
It's done. It's uploading, and I apologize to everybody. The one thing I didn't consider was my crappy internet, and we're talking about 2.6 terabytes compressed 264H codec. So I compressed it down as much as I could, but it's probably going to be after 1 or 2 a.m. at least. If it finishes, if it gets kicked out, then I'm going to take it to my boss's house in the morning and plug it into his high speed, and it should upload in an hour or two. But all the members are going to get to see it. It's going to premiere Saturday. All the members are going to get to see it probably tomorrow. I think, Danielle, I'm not sure. If you premiere it and we let the members see it, they still can't see it, can they? We'll have to set it for them to watch it and then set it to premiere Friday.
Yeah, do it that way. Yeah. We'll work it out. We'll work it out. It's on its way.
Yeah,
Up there.
I thought the members might get to watch it tonight. I really tried. I mean, I really, really tried. And I was uploading it, and I was looking, and I misspelled something. And I was like, oh, no. And it's a bad one. It's a bad one. So
did it look like I was the one that spelled it?
Look, I quit school in 9th grade. Now, my mother made me read. I read Virginia Woolf. I read Chaucer, Faulkner, Hemingway.
Yeah.
I read a lot, but I cannot spell worth of crap. So I just have to. And when you're editing, there's no spell checker. So I had to go through and I double checked everything else. So it's fine now.
You always manage to point out my spelling mistakes, though. How do you manage to do that?
He didn't want to give you the opportunity.
Well, I mean, I got to get you back.
Well, exactly. That's why I knew you'd have to.
It's like 10 to 1. You're 1 to my 10, so you got to give me something.
All right,
hey, Carrie.
Yeah.
Jamie Cantrell pointed out that your beard was black before you started editing.
I know, right? Hey, look, 7 months. 7 months since we shot this, and the first 5 was just me going through and getting familiar with footage. 5 months. And then I put things in the timeline, but I didn't start editing until September 25th when I went down to Marks. And then it was just, we had the computer issues. Everything was slow. And then at home, same thing, not quite as bad. I get out here and it's better, but I work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's no day off here. But I took 6 hours the other day. As much as I could work on it every day, I would work on it. But I took 6 hours and did probably the last 20 minutes. It's an hour and 28 minutes and 33 seconds long, which I know that seems short, but it's the first 2 days.
Yeah.
It's very dynamic. It's got a lot of stuff in it. It's dynamic, and then it's got a lot of stuff in it, and then I don't know. I'm my own worst critic. I hope everybody likes it. It's got, thank God for Mark Zasky, Jimmy Barr.
But you know how to make a documentary. I think we were all. That's why everybody's here, because they know you can make a documentary. So I know what it's like when you're doing your own thing and you are super critical. Everybody's like that who's creative, and it's hard to look at your own stuff and go, "That's ready," but you know how to do it. Honestly,
can y'all see it back there uploading? That's why I'm not on my computer doing the shows. The internet. I don't know if it'll keep going if I get on this broadband. I want it to go as quick as possible. Well, thank you, Daniela. I would have never thought I would make films ever. And then we just said, let's do it. I think if you just decide to do something and try hard to learn how to do it, I guess you can do it. I still don't think they're that great myself. I look at them and cringe sometimes, but I've learned a lot since even the last one. I learned quite a bit doing this one.
Yeah. It's just the little things that get to you, isn't it? But those little things are probably things people don't even notice, apart from the clicking and the thing. Anyway.
Well, for me, it's other things. It's camera angles. What I feel like I should have done is what really gets me. Man, I should have done this. This would have looked good with this. I just in the moment, I take notes. I try to do that stuff, but 168 hours was tough. It was like herding cats. All those guys were just everywhere. Couldn't keep up. And you're going to see the ones that are in it are the ones who put in the work. So,
you okay if I say something about what you showed me?
Sure.
Okay. So I just want to put this out there to the people. Now, there's been countless reports of red eye shine. I've never seen it. Never seen pictures of it. Here's the thing. I've never seen pictures of red eye shine.
Me either.
And Carrie showed me what Blake caught. And when you're looking at something through a phone at a computer screen, it's already degraded, but then it's coming through Messenger and it's already degraded. But this red eye shine, it's in the trees about 8 feet up off the ground, is the most ominous eye shine I've ever seen.
It's pretty bad.
It is, dude. I'm the same person. I'm the person. Red eye shine. I've seen just about every animal out there that's in the woods, and I've never seen red on anything that wasn't dying and bleeding out. So This eye shine, guys, it is ominous, man. It is.
Oh, and it's an eye
It is
this big.
creaky.
It's huge.
Man,
It's a huge eye.
Yeah,
Wow.
for the people, the naysayers about the red eyes, shut up and watch.
Yeah, I don't think it's projecting red. I think it's reflecting.
Right.
I don't think it's self-illuminating.
No,
it is
doesn't
because
appear
he's
to
got that Psionics night vision camera, and it's a color night vision camera. So everything that's whatever color it is what color it is. You can see the green leaves in the tree, and you see that eye. And it's just all you see is one, because I think he's peeking out from behind a tree, so you only see one eye. But man, it's right there. It doesn't stay very long though.
There's no denying what you're.
He didn't do what I asked him to do. He didn't run in there after it. Of course, I don't blame him. I wouldn't have done it, but he did see it in real time, and it's in here. It's in the film on the very first night. So
still pretty compelling stuff.
A lot of this stuff is what happened to you, David, is in there toward the last third of the film, and we've got the narrations from Cam and Nance that are just amazing. The footage, the B-roll that I've got to show on there, was just awesome. I didn't have to do anything to it. I'm just showing it. I didn't contrast it, nothing. It looked that good.
The morning drone shot. Something that should be on the Discovery Channel. It should be on the Discovery Channel.
That was awesome.
It was foggy that night. So I got in my truck because I wasn't getting in no tent. I got in my truck and I set my alarm for 6:30. So, and it was already 2 a.m. So I kicked back and my alarm went off, and I was like, oh, do I want to do this? And I was like, oh, I got to do it. I had everything ready. So that's the only real drone footage in it, because the
amazing
thermal didn't work that well. But I think people are going to enjoy it. You know, there's some pretty compelling stuff in there. There's no proof, obviously, of anything. It's all going to be up to you guys, but there's some really clear images of Bigfoot in it. I think Crypto Reality provided some of the clearest stuff you're ever going to see as far as the face is concerned. But that's all you're going to get out there. They're just not. There's one you can see body. It's hiding. You can see brow ridge. You can see the cone. You can see its hair really clear. It's one that Melanie got. And it was just a couple of miles from the 168 camp where all these are within a few miles of camp. Everything that's in it is just right in that area. So, and then we've got stuff from the tree line, some pretty good shots from the tree line of them. Got the thermal in the tree of that big joker up there. And you guys going after it, but it's not. I think you guys might be surprised at how this looks. It's just there's so much extra stuff to it. It's not just hour by hour, minute by minute. You know, the way I wanted to do it. It didn't get filmed that way. It's not how it worked out. And thank God Mark Newbill knew how to talk to the camera. That's all I'm saying. Mark Newbill's gonna be pretty much the star of this thing. He's in it. He's in it a lot, but he's showing the process, what he's doing, what he's, how he's researching. So I was glad we were able to show a lot of that. But can you tell I'm a little excited to have it done?
Just a little bit.
A little bit.
And of course, this isn't just about seeing Bigfoot. This is about the journey. We've said this before. What it entails, and just like the massive kind of stuff that you need to even get close to getting some sort of evidence of these things. I mean, it's so many people put together with so much technology. Even at this point, I'm sure the next one's you're going to be far more advanced with the next one because you've already done this one. But there's a lot that goes into it. It's not just going out in the woods and hoping you can capture it. And this is, just shows how difficult it is to do it. And you're actually putting it out there and showing people this is what we did and this is what we got,
Well, even the best trackers, you're just going to have to get lucky. You got to be in a viable area and be at the right place at the right time. I'm sure there are some things you can do to bring them in, but you have to commit. Like Jimmy, when the arguing between Chad and Chris Noel, we're going to be doing a lot of arguing, not real arguing, but fake arguing and fighting each other the next time. Because that thing screamed from, 60, 70 yards away, At you guys?
At the most.
That's going to be in part 2. That's not going to be in this part. And I'm not going to start on part 2 for a couple weeks. So don't even ask. I'm not taking a break. But being familiar with the footage, it's not going to take as long to put the second one together.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Just to not really to hype up the second one or anything, but that night that thing yelled at us, I had the parabolics on, and at the most it was 60 yards away, and I heard the yell from the outside of my headphones. So it's in there, and I feel like if the recorder worked like it's supposed to, it's the next Ohio howl, man. It's not way off there.
Yeah, we'll get it.
Yeah,
Send it to New Bill, let him break it down. Because he'll put it in waveform and tell you if it's in human range or not. You know,
I couldn't mimic it.
normal.
I tried to. Being an 80s singer, I've got a great range and great power. I couldn't get the power, and I couldn't get the low frequency. It was just lower than I could do. That doesn't mean anything, but I've got a pretty good range when it comes
It's
to
just power. They just have it.
Yes.
A lot of them are very powerful.
Yeah.
And that's the same exact place Style Shine was. Same exact place.
Yep. And that's also the same exact place on our last night there when we all did the campfire. Josh, remember? Dave, remember we did the campfire on the trail?
Yeah.
On our way out, Christopher Noah had a rock thrown to us, and you and Blake ran in there because there was a heat signature, and that is where the yell came from.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's in part 2.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of the end. I'm really proud of that. It took about 4 hours to make that 2.5 minutes, but I like it. I think people are going to enjoy the very end. So you got to watch it till the end. I'm not putting a ton of ads in it. I'm going to just put about 5, 2 in the beginning, spread 1 or 2 through the middle, and 1 at the end. So you'll only have to, if you don't have YouTube Premium, you're going to have to scrub through 2 ads, but we'll put it in transition so you won't miss any act. It won't interrupt like YouTube does when they put them in.
Well, they put them in anyway, don't they? If you haven't got premium, you're always going to get ads, unfortunately, whether you put them in or not. YouTube.
Well, you could not monetize, but I mean, at this point, we've got, with what we raised and what I put in it, almost $50,000 in 2 years doing this. At it.
Yeah, I mean,
so to get a little of it back, very, very little, unless if it gets 10 million views, we'll get our money back. I'm not anticipating that.
Well, I don't want to keep you too long because I know. Well, you can stay as long as you want. Obviously, I mean, it's your channel. But in case you are going, just I know that you're proud of all the guys that put in there and did the work. Just say a few words about what these 3 guys here, what they brought for you. You know what you found out about them that makes you proud of them.
I'm Jimmy, just for enduring. Jimmy has gone through a lot in this, and while he was there, I think a lot more people should have had the attitude Jimmy had, because to me, Jimmy was really on point, and he's credited as a field producer, and in the credits. So because he helped me that much, between him and Brad and Chris Noel, just ideas, getting things together, shots. Jimmy was on time. You weren't waiting on him. Josh has a really calm way about him, but there's tenacity underneath, because he's there too. He's that urge to want to get out and go. It's to sit, you're twiddling your thumbs waiting on somebody else, that kind of guy. Josh has a really big part in the film. You're going to see him a lot. David, couldn't have asked for anybody better to save the footage for what you had to work with. You really, it took me a minute to get used to, but now I know right where everything is. I've just been through it that much. But I was only able to because I could have never done it what you did. Plus, originally that was just your job. You weren't really planning on going out until we got there, and I was like, yeah, well, might as well. And so you did everything else on top of that, David. You had the experiences. A lot of this content in here is all thanks to you. So I appreciate you guys very much. It's definitely want you to be on the next one for sure. So
well, we couldn't even have started this if it wasn't for you. You took on way more than you were supposed to. You did way more than you were supposed to, which is probably why you didn't get done what you wanted it to get done and how it was supposed to get done. For God's sakes, people, if Carrie is asleep, if nobody's on fire and people aren't getting arrested, let him sleep.
Let him sleep. Yeah.
People woke him up and asked him, "Are you sleeping?"
yeah,
that really happened. That really happened. So we all kind of had to do our part. And the guys, I forgot to also mention Jeff Townsend. Jeff Townsend was there, and man, there's probably not another nicer guy. It was great to meet Jeff, but we couldn't have done any of this had the vision not been there by Carrie. There's been plenty of people with the vision, but nobody with the fortitude to make it happen. So it's got to start back at the very root of the entire 168, which was around Carrie, and he was leaned on way more than he was supposed to be.
Great crew, great direction, great job, Carrie. Absolutely, certainly a pleasure.
I appreciate it very much. I'm going to sit down and just breathe and watch the percent go up as it uploads. And when it's done, well, you guys will know. But the members will know. How will they know, Daniela? Will the members get notified?
She said you were going to text everybody individually.
I'm on mute. Everyone should get a notification. If you remember, you should get a notification. But just go over before the end, after the show, go and check that bell button that you get all the notifications for everybody, so that nobody misses out when it does come out on Saturday. Or just check tomorrow at some point. It's going to be up there. I'm sure Kerry's going to premiere it at least a few hours before it's going to come out. So you can keep checking through the day if you haven't got a notification or you think you've missed out. But
we'll probably
hopefully everyone should
premiere. Yeah, I'm sorry. We'll probably set it to premiere Friday, just so the members can watch it tomorrow.
Yeah. So Friday everyone will see it, but the members will see it tomorrow night. So yeah, but just check your notification things. But there shouldn't be a reason why people don't get them. If they don't, it's YouTube. It's down to YouTube. It's not us. We don't personally post a notification to everyone. We have to do it within YouTube. So could do that as well. If you're in the Facebook group, I will put a note up saying what time it's going to be out for members only and for everybody on Friday. So we'll do as much as we can to let people know.
Cool. 7:30 p.m. Central, Saturday.
Right. We're on.
All right. I'm
everyone,
going to go
Go take a nap.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's know.
Yeah, Gary.
Another 12-hour day tomorrow. So, hey.
Good job.
All right. Y'all have a good show.
Take it easy, brother. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. So, guys, 7:30 on Saturday is when everyone's going to see it. Just put it in your phone now. Put it in your phone, on your calendar. Don't wait for YouTube to let you down. Get it down as a event in your calendar, on your phone. Get a notification. Boom. You're laughing. And as far as members go, you should just get a notification for it. But like I say, keep an eye out tomorrow. Look in the community tab, because that is where the link will be. So, yeah, I'm excited. And Kerry's obviously excited. It's been a long time coming, but, you can't rush these things. unfortunately, editing is a zone of its own. And when you've got work and other commitments, it's hard because you really need to set the time aside and have some peace and quiet to actually get into it. So, but like I say, I saw a little bit of it today, and I can't wait to watch it. It looks very, very interesting. I saw a couple of clips in there that I was like, oh wow. So, not going to say anything more, but it's definitely going to be worth the wait. What time in the UK for the 168? If it's 7:30, that will be 1:30 in the morning on Sunday morning, I guess. So non-members on Saturday, yeah, everybody gets to see it on Saturday. And if in the UK, it's going to be at 1:30 in the morning. So that'll be fun. I'll have to be drinking lots of coffee and, whatever else. So yeah, let's talk about the most puzzling thing maybe that you encountered, maybe that you've ever encountered in the search for Bigfoot.
Um, I'd say the strangest thing for me would be catching some of these things on thermal and them just vanishing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most puzzling thing I've probably seen. I did witness some of that in Florida,
Real time.
and I've also witnessed some of that in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
It blows my mind because I've used thermals for years, and when you're looking through these things and you're watching other researchers or other people out there walking around, they go behind a tree, they're going to walk back out behind that tree. But somehow these things are able to just poof. And it still blows my mind.
What do you think? What do you think is going on? I mean, how?
Well, the first thing that pops in my head is spider crawling. They're dropping down real low
Mhm.
and crawling away behind whatever brush they can. But even with that thought, it still blows me away.
Mm. I mean, they can pull themselves up into a tree. I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
with no bother. We've just no effort at all. So these things literally could walk behind a tree and pull themselves up, or like you say, down to the ground. They're clever, aren't they? I mean, they seem
Yeah.
to know.
And
very.
to be frank with you, that's kind of what I saw. We had an expedition in July in Michigan's Upper Peninsula,
Hmm.
and I had some thermal that I had seen crouching and then standing, then crouching and then standing, and it's like it backed out directly from the line of sight, like directly behind a tree, and it backed out, and then it was gone. But it was there. Whatever it was there. I don't know what it was. Um, it was strange. It was an unknown. And I guess that's why I do this. I want answers. I want to find some answers to some unknowns out there, and we saw plenty of them in Florida and in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
Mm-hmm. You okay, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So being an ex-federal agent, have you ever? I mean, I've got to ask it. Have you ever asked in any department? I mean, I don't know what department holds information that we want to know about, but have you ever tried to investigate on that side whether there's some sort of conspiracy or whether somebody knows some information, or is it just not something you could do?
Everybody knows information. It's all compartmentalized. They place them in different compartments at different security levels. And I had top secret and above top secret security clearances in the agency to do my job, and that's the whole thing, to do my job. Now, in terms of other compartments that do exist in relation to cryptids, that do exist in relation to other phenomena. I believe that those compartments do exist, but the existence of the compartments themselves would be classified. In other words, you wouldn't even know that these compartments exist until you're read into them, until you get access to them. So, as a federal agent, you are busy enough with your caseload and your area of responsibility that there's really not a whole lot of time. However, there are stories that do go around the office from time to time that you hear about, and it just makes you wonder. And it makes you wonder in that you don't know if they're testing your security clearance. That if you go out and tell this incredible story you heard at the office to all of your friends and neighbors, that you'll lose your security clearance because that's a test, or whether it's something actually that's real. So that's the whole crux of it.
And so people in that kind of job, they're just not saying anything because they don't know if they're going to get a backlash, or they are being tested, or like I say, it's just a story. I mean, I guess your kind of job's on the line, isn't it? Or your reputation, or other
You're
things.
if you're not directly dealing with that issue, with those sorts of things, if you report such a thing, if you discuss such things, you lose credibility, and it puts your security clearance and your job on the line.
It's crazy, isn't it? Why they I don't know who they are, but would feel threatened by anybody because this subject's laughed at for the majority, you know, especially outside of this community. It's looked like in a very different light. And why do they think? Why do you think they would be worried that we could prove something?
I think they're worried for the truth. That the truth will be known about any number of things. Like I've said before, and I'll say it again, 90% of the things that happen out there, the public never find out about. And they want to keep it that way.
Mm.
And ridicule is just one way to accomplish that end.
Definitely. But I mean, it's quite complex as well, isn't it? This proving business. It's not just a video or a picture. I mean, there's a lot that's going to take to prove this thing. Not just a body. I mean, someone to test it, and yeah, it's a long journey, isn't it? It's a long journey.
Yeah.
Yes, and at every step of the way, I believe the government will interfere to prevent that ball from going farther down the field. In this and in other areas as well.
Yeah, we need when we do get a body, we there's so many people that said we need scientists, we need scientists, we need scientists. We do, but we need scientists that aren't backed by the government. We need an independent scientist. It's not funded and relied upon by the government to do their work. It takes basically somebody rich out there, because having the government involved is just gonna gum things up. We having somebody that's funded by the government and their credentials are, potentially lost or whatnot. It has to be an independent, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You're right, Jimmy. And what I can tell you, I've taught at 2 colleges and 2 universities, and anyone who comes forward with such claims would definitely be in jeopardy of losing their tenure, losing their job, losing their credibility, losing everything that they worked for their entire career. In effect, being erased.
Yeah.
Being erased.
Mm. It's such a mystery, isn't it? I mean, this is why we're all here as well. I mean, it just, the more you think about this, the more questions. Let me just get this clear for people. Yeah, if you're in the UK, wherever you are in the world, and you remember, you can see this, you'll be able to see it tomorrow night. And everybody will get to see it on Saturday. Wherever you are in the world, you'll have to work out the time zones because I can barely work it out for UK and America and all those different places. But you'll get a notification, definitely. I know we're all excited. Kerry more than anybody, I guess. But it's going to be coming out soon. So, yeah. So what are you excited to see in this documentary? Is there anything in particular? You don't have to give too much detail, but was there a moment where you thought, I hope this is in there?
Well, I know there were so many teens out and about that we weren't able to experience everything that the other teens were experiencing. So that's one of the things I'm looking forward to seeing the most.
Yeah. Jimmy?
I think just the footage. I think the footage of, kind of what it takes to go out there, the kind of equipment to kind of get, what you need to, if you're going to video one, the kind of equipment you need, and the drive that you got to do. Again, I'll fall back on it. I do think the person that probably ends up proving Bigfoot to the world isn't going to be a researcher. It's just going to be a random person with the dash cam or the helmet cam while they're out backpacking or mountain biking, or a hunter who's just filming his hunt, because those are the ones that have the best luck, it seems like. No, I want to see it all put together. I was excited to be a part of it. So, and I don't want to see my face on there. I'd rather see everybody else. Again, I'd like to see the superstar in there. Clay Campbell, his girl, she should be on the cover of the disc CD. She's so hopefully she's, I think she's got at least a mention. She's got to have, like I said, MVP. But again, like what Josh said, that we didn't see a lot of what the other crews got to experience. Clay Campbell was our team lead. Great guy. It was an honor to be a part of his team and meet everybody else as well. So I really seeing it as a whole put together, seeing what Mark Zasky contributed to it and his wife, and just some of the footage. I want to see actually all of it. I want to see all of it. I got to see what I got to see firsthand. So that day out there, with the roar and the pine cones getting thrown in the dark, the big thing we heard in the bushes shortly after we got on the trail and went in to chase it, all that stuff. I'm anxious to see all that footage. The thing in the tree, sitting out in the tree just before sunset, that was on camera, plain as day. We could see it through my monocular. I'm anxious to see it. I want to see what the camera caught, and I want everybody else to see it. I'm being kind of selfish about it, but I want everybody else to experience it as well. We lived it, but again, like Josh said, we only got to see what we got to see with our own eyes. I want to see what everybody else seen.
Exactly. Everyone got to see their own part, and I want to see it all put together, and that's what Carrie's doing so well here. So I can't wait for the premiere here, and it's going to be great.
There's a little question came up. So Dave taking the oath, and that can't speak for security reasons. Does that oath carry over into retirement?
Yes, it does. Actually,
Are you trying to get him erased?
We were going to put him in the hot seat, tie him down. We have ways of making you talk.
Get me erased. There's stuff that I can't talk about. Basically, 20 years until after you retire, which basically they got you on paper until you die. And there's certain things that I can never talk about, can never say, and that's just the way it is. So there's other things that in terms of how things work, that are a little bit less innocuous, that that are not sensitive information.
So if you get past the 20 years, you're going to write a book on all the things you can't tell us tonight.
You know, one thing I can say is that there are agencies in the government, and there are agencies that really even don't exist, and they do a very good job at keeping us safe as Americans and keeping us all fat, dumb, and happy. And that what they do is never known. It should be known, but will never be known. And what they do is incredible, and what they have done for this country is incredible. And that's what I can say. Things have happened. Things do have happened that most Americans would, it could scare the pants off them.
Mhm.
But there's people out there that take care of this stuff and that work the problems for the benefit of this country and its citizens.
And I guess you've got to protect that. There's an element of protection of these people and services that are protecting us, that might cross boundaries that we might want to know about, but actually probably better that we don't know about.
Right.
I mean, it's a fine line, isn't it? And a double-edged sword at the same time of what's going on and what we can know about. But, you know, there's obviously stuff we'd like to know, isn't it, about the UFOs and the Bigfoot thing. I mean, this would be really great to learn something. But, you know, like you say, maybe this is the journey for someone who's just out hiking and suddenly they, you know, come across a big hand or something. I don't know. It's going to have to be something pretty substantial
It
for them
happens.
to crack the case, you know.
It happens, and there's going to be evidence of it on 168 that the Forestry Service, FWC down here, knows they exist. They take reports, and we have an FWC officer show up at our camp and admits taking reports, admits seeing strange things. And the very last day we were there, I gave my remaining water to one of the campers that was there that wasn't a part of 168. And he told me, yeah, I had something strange happen over in this area. You're familiar with it? I'm like, yeah, that's where we've been. And I told him, don't stop right there. Tell Carrie. So Carrie got on the last day a camper talking about his encounter, and he reported it to the FWC. He called them, and then an officer came out and followed up with him on it. Well, that officer was the one that came to our camp. And he told me while I was doing a Facebook Live when I went back out where the orbs were seen, he was the one that took that call, and he went out and did the follow-up on it. So the FWC are taking reports. They know of the existence, and they did not deny it in front of everybody. But what he did say was, so it's funny, Carrie told us to lie. If any FWC officers would please show up, tell them we are bird watching. We are looking at wildlife. So FWC officer shows up in the middle of the night, ask what we're doing. Or out here filming wildlife. What kind of wildlife? Somebody said birds, right? Carrie walks up, just kind of gets in his face and said, seen any boogers out here? And the guy was like, Sasquatch, seen any Sasquatch? This is what he said. Well, we know they're out. Well, there are definitely some strange things out here in these woods. He said, we know they are out. Stop mid-sentence and change the direction of his plausible deniability, I guess, if that's what you want to call it.
And Jimmy, I have to say, I was there and part of that discussion and part of that, hearing that and everything. So I can attest to the fact that it did happen. And those were the man's words. And I would just suggest that there are people down in Florida who are in the know and others who are not in the know. Just like certain people are read into certain programs and people that aren't read into certain programs don't have any idea as to the program's existence.
He went so far as the night that I was doing my Facebook Live when I was out there trying to see if I could see the orbs, is to giving his cell number to me, not his business number, his personal cell number.
Hmm.
It's on here, and we've communicated a few times.
Right.
But I don't give him too much information because I still don't know where he stands. You know,
Mm.
it is odd. It's very odd. 3 of the places that we went for research areas after 168, very, very, very soon after 168, all 3 of them had control burns done.
That's interesting, isn't it?
All 3 of them.
I think. Yeah. Mm.
And another thing that I think Mark Zasky had spoken about is that some of the areas had security cameras put up.
Mhm.
And
Where I currently am has a security. You are being filmed as soon as you pull up it.
everything you're doing is being watched. Why?
Mm.
Wildlife management.
It's a public park.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
It's very curious, isn't it? What they think we can actually come up with when we really haven't come up with a lot over the years. I mean, just the same prints and the odd photo and stuff like that. You know, I'm not trying to dumb it down at all, but we really haven't come out with that much. But there seems to be a sense of people are being watched and they're keeping an eye on what we're doing. And just what do they think we can reveal? I mean, I don't know. We'll see, I guess. We'll see, won't we, anyway?
Yeah. So
What happens.
Absolutely.
And Daniela, in my experience, they're definitely watching. They're
Mhm.
watching.
yes.
Mhm.
So 3
No
weeks ago,
question.
3 weeks ago, when I went out and put recorders out, I showed up at the spot where that recording video, that sign of recording, you know, under surveillance. When I got there, there was a sheriff's helicopter making circles in one area in the woods, and it was there until I left. So I want to say it was in the air 40 minutes circling the same spot
Oh, wow.
in an area where it says you're already under surveillance from cameras. I was the only vehicle out there. And you have to get in there with a vehicle.
Mm.
Needless to say, I didn't go where they were circling. You know, for my mindset was, okay, at the time, is this Brian Landry out there? Is he out there? And then they found him, but, yeah.
Right.
I just want to say thank you, Long Island Bigfoot Mike. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. And of course, Tammy. My throat's going. Tammy will really appreciate that. Guys, look, we've got 510 in the chat. Can we get 510 likes before we end the show tonight? Would really appreciate that. If you stick those thumbs up, this channel will get out to more people, you know, and more people will get to see the documentary and get some awareness of what's going on with Bigfoot. And, you know, that's what we want to do, is try and put the word out and, you know, spread awareness as much as we can and get this channel, you know, noticed, because something is going on out there and we are trying in our own ways to find answers, because people deserve answers. A lot of these people who've had terrible experiences, and even for those that have just seen something and can't work it out, you know, for themselves, you know, it really upsets me to think people don't go out into the woods anymore and can't experience that, you know, the nature and what they love doing because of these creatures. And, you know, we deserve to know, especially people like Jimmy and whoever else, Kerry, you know, and all the other guys and girls who have experienced this. So please support that channel. The channel, just a thumbs up would really, really help. But guys, look, we've gone over our hour. I really appreciate you all coming on the run up to the 168 being released, because we're all like on the edge of our chairs.
Yeah.
And it's been good to get you all together as well, because I know you haven't seen each other for a while. So
Yeah, it's
it was
been a
great
while.
to hear your stories.
We're all really looking to figure out what's made all these prints out there.
Mhm.
We want to. I want to know what made this.
Yeah.
We want to know what's out there. We know what's out there, but we want to see it. We want
I want to.
make people aware of it, and just hang in there. There's more to come.
I want answers. I'll give a spoiler right now in the episode. Something happens to me, which, being a police officer and everything for my entire career, have only experienced other things that were not quite as intense as this, but something happened to me, and I want answers. I want answers. What about you, Josh?
Well, I'll tell you what, this expedition definitely changed the way I see things. I've had sightings, I've seen these things, but what I witnessed in Florida changed a lot of my views on some things. It's kind of got me teetering on some sensitive subjects, I should say. So it's definitely something you don't want to miss.
Before we go, guys, I tried to run off a list of everybody that was out there. Did I miss anybody? Because I don't want to leave anybody out that took part.
I think you've got everyone. I think you've got everyone, and I'm sure they'll forgive you.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of names.
Russell, did I say Russell?
I think so.
From Mogi Months? Okay.
Jackie, just look now below the video. You should see the subscribe sign and the box and the join. Hopefully you'll see it there if you want to join. We really appreciate everybody joining tonight as well. I know some of you have been with us for a long time and don't want to, for your own reasons, you don't want to join. Please don't feel like the members are getting a special due. It's just something we're doing for the people that are financially supporting us and helping us do what we're doing. But we appreciate every single one of you out there, and you will all get to see it by Saturday. You're all going to get to see it, and hopefully tomorrow night. Kerry's just messaged me; it's at 12%, so it's getting there. It was 11% about an hour ago, but we're at 12% now. So it's definitely going to be on for tomorrow night or tonight for whoever's in the UK. But guys, once again, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's been great chatting to you all. Thank you to everybody in the chat, everybody who's watching, everybody who had questions. I'm sorry if I missed any of them. And thank you all who gave the thumbs up. We really appreciate that. So hopefully we'll see you tomorrow night, members only, for the documentary. I'm all excited now. And we'll be back again Saturday night with the documentary for everybody to see. So we'll see you all in the chat there. Until then, everyone, have a great night, and we'll see you all soon. Bye.
Thank
Good night,
you.
everybody.
Night.
Good night.